Hello, everybody.
Thank you so much for attending. We're excited to welcome Hailey Van Lith to the Chicago Sky. We'll open it up to media questions, starting with Julia.
Hi, Hailey. Welcome to Chicago. I'm Julia Poe with the Chicago Tribune. Just first, kind of starting off, what kind of conversations have you had, if any, with the Sky going into the draft process, and what was that like on draft night?
Yeah, I had a few great conversations. Deep in my heart, I wanted to come to the Sky. I felt like just with the two quick conversations I had, I felt a ton of alignment, and I felt like they saw who I was as a player, and I felt valued. So, I was hoping that I was available when Chicago's picks came, and you never want to put too much expectation or hope because you never know what will happen on draft day. But deep in my heart, I was really hoping that this is where I ended up.
When you talk about them seeing you as a player, what kind of are those aspects of yourself that you felt like fit with the Sky?
Yeah, I think number one, they believed in the parts of my game that they think will translate to the league. And coming out of college, that's always the biggest question for players is people always are talking about whether this will translate or that will translate, or she can be successful at this. And I just felt that they really believed in things that I do well, and not just skill set, but more mindset and personality. They really wanted someone that brought toughness, that was gritty, could fight. And, I like to think that those are character traits that, are displayed when I play. And so, again, I just felt a ton of alignment in what they were looking for and what I feel like I bring to the table. So I was very encouraged after I talked to them, and I couldn't have been more happy when my name was called.
Last one for me. You're coming into a team that has a lot of vets at the guard position.
Mm-hmm.
What are you looking forward to with working with them? And have you had the chance to speak with any of them, specifically like Courtney, Ariel, some of those gals?
Yeah, I have spoke to both Courtney and Ariel. I think that I'm most excited because what those vets do really well are things that I'm looking to improve upon or really take advantage of learning from them, particularly with Courtney's overall court vision and the tempo that she plays at. I cannot wait to watch film with her, to just observe her in practices and pick her brain about how she controls games and controls the speed of games and gets her bigs and her shooting guards the ball when they need it to score. So I think that she's one in particular that I'm really, really excited just getting to be around.
Hi, Hailey. Chris with Fox Chicago. Welcome to Chicago.
Thank you.
What's the last month been like for you, especially going the Elite Eight run to draft night to today? What's that been like for you?
It has. I was telling someone the other day, it kind of feels like how the Olympics felt. It's like a huge sprint, and there's so many things going on, and you don't really know what's going on. But then when you look back, you're like, wow, that was incredible. It's kind of the same vibe. But I've been just trying my best, especially, when we were in New York for the draft experience, trying to stay present because I only get one of those in my whole career. And I've been trying my best. That I won't lie, there's not a lot of schoolwork getting done right now. Sorry to my professors, but I've just been trying to soak it all in, and because this is really the last little bit that I get to sit back and enjoy before, it gets real quick with training camp coming up. So it's been crazy, but it's a blessing to be in this position, and I'm super grateful.
Carly Bell on Zoom, please unmute.
Hi, Hailey. This is Carly Bell with Courtside with Carly Bell. Welcome to the city of Chicago. I know everyone has talked to you about playing with Angel Reese, but obviously, as you've said, you guys have grown exponentially, just in the 2 years. Just when you look back on that time that you did play with Angel, what are things about your game that you have either grown in or expanded that you believe can translate to the W seamlessly?
Yeah, I think number one, the style of play that I've become comfortable with as a point guard has improved a lot. I've really found, especially towards the end of this season, I found a great balance of what playing the point guard looks for me, because I am not a, traditional pass first point guard. That's not how I can help a team best. But I've figured out a balance of how I can be, most efficient, most effective with distributing, facilitating, scoring, pushing tempo, being a leader, all those things that a point guard has to do. I think I'm in a great rhythm and in a great stride of what that looks like for me, for Hailey Van Lith. I don't want to try to copy anyone else that's in the league. But I also, I don't want to try to rewrite the script. I want to be in the middle where I'm learning from people, but I'm also very comfortable with what I bring to the table. So I think just number one, the most that I've grown from my season at LSU is like knowing fully what Hailey Van Lith as a point guard looks like.
And then to kind of follow up on that, we obviously know what you can do offensively, but your defensive game, especially on ball pressure, is something that we really saw this last season at TCU. Defense is something that's really vital in the WNBA. So what are some things that you've just seen in the defensive game in the WNBA that you will either need to grow, expand, or that your defensive game can already bring to this upcoming season?
Yeah, I think one thing that I'm starting to get the hang of but I need to continue to get better at and grow for the league is just with my size. I am smaller. I need to win the low battle every time. Anytime someone's putting the ball on the floor, anytime someone's going for a pickup, my hands need to be around, making them uncomfortable, trying to get strips, anything to disrupt rhythm. I have to win the low game, whether that's when a big does get a rebound over me and they bring it down for a second, can I tie them up? When someone is coming off a pick and roll and they try to put me in jail, can I get around and pick them from behind on the low side? So continuing to get better at winning the low game is going to be huge for improvement and impactfulness for me in the league. But one thing I think that I'm prepared for on the defensive end already is I'm a physical player. I know how to harness my physicality due to my smaller size. I'm very comfortable with the physical style of play. I think you can see that in how I play in college, and also, with how well my game translates to 3-on-3, just how physical that style of play is. I'm very comfortable in that environment, and I intend to use my physicality to help even things out anytime I'm at a size disadvantage. So that's kind of my defensive approach.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Hailey.
Hailey. Good
Welcome
luck.
again.
I'm good.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Maddy and Aicha will be in just a few moments. Welcome Aicha, Coulibaly, and Maddy Westbeld to the Chicago Sky. We'll open up to questions for the media. We'll start with Julia Poe.
Hey guys, welcome to Chicago. Julia Poe with the Chicago Tribune. Same thing that I asked Hailey. I was just wondering if both of you could kind of take us through what conversations, if any, you had pre-draft with the Sky, and then just kind of what your draft night experience was like being drafted here.
Yeah, so I had my first conversation with Tyler and Jeff last week, and we had a short Zoom call, but you really felt the energy within the Zoom call, and just how personable they were. Kind of like Hailey said, you didn't really have to prove who you were as a person or who you were as a player. It was like a natural, I believe in you. And that's really all that I could ask for. And I think since then it was just like, I sincerely hope that I get to be a part of an organization who believes in you from the start, and you don't necessarily have to prove that. And so I'm so blessed to be here and so grateful for this opportunity. From draft night, it was a very emotional, very, just exciting opportunity. I was at home with my family. We ended up having kind of a big draft party, so I was able to be in front of my friends, all my family, old high school teammates, just a very full circle moment to be with the people that I love the most. And so for me, it was I couldn't ask for anything better for a night as big as that was to, see my dream come true.
Hi.
just to pick it back up on what she said, I had a couple conversations with some teams, but this was the best conversation I had, and it just, I felt comfortable right away, and just them believing in me because of who I am and what I do on the court, and just watching me throughout the year. I just felt comfortable. I told Jeff, I said, I felt like I've known you for 10 years. The conversation was that good, and I just feel like being around people like that, and that's what brings the best out of me. And I'm so grateful to be here and be part of this franchise, and I'm so glad that I came here, and I can't wait to see what's next. And from the job, I just watch it with my teammates and my coaches. They drag me out of bed, and we just, watch it. It was an amazing feeling, and I'm so glad that I got to do it with the people that are close to me.
Move to Carly Bell on Zoom. Please unmute.
Hi, Maddy and Aicha. This is Carly Bell with Courtside with Carly Bell. Welcome to the city of Chicago. First question is going to be for you, Aicha. Obviously, coming into the league is something that provides different challenges for all types of players. And when you play, in the SEC at both Auburn and Texas A&M, you're playing against top 5 talent. What are some things that you have seen in just your career playing in SEC and going against current WNBA players consistently that has given you a lot of confidence heading into training camp and then a possible rookie season with this guy?
I feel like the SEC is one of the best. It's very physical, and then you play against the best teams. We got South Carolina, LSU, all those teams. I feel like it's always been a challenge for. It was always a good challenge for me, just going in there knowing that I'm playing against ranked teams every single night, and I had to get ready. And I feel like it prepared me a lot, just getting ready for the WNBA and knowing that some of the girls that I played against, and they kill me, but especially Coulibaly and Angel Reese. But just getting a chance to play with them as well is gonna keep me away from getting blocked a lot. So I'm pretty excited for it.
And then Maddy, obviously we know what you can do and from a versatile standpoint, but if we want to focus a little bit offensively, you have the ability to score on 3 levels, but it's also your ability to have that mid-range and 3-point shot, which is something this guy kind of lacked last year. When you look at your offensive game, especially in that mid-range as a stretch forward, what are some things that you believe that you can contribute offensively to this guy and under a new head coach?
Yeah, we had talked about just the ability to stretch the floor, the ability to be decisive. I know Chicago really likes the ball screen. We talked about, just being able to play off of that, having a point guard like Courtney and Hailey, who is so, ball dominant and able to find, their forwards wherever they need to be. I think my ability to find wherever open spots are and to be able to hit wherever I catch it. I think that's going to be really, really valuable. And I'm excited to get better in that area and get better in every spot that I can catch the ball.
We'll go to Steven and then Alyssa.
Hey, ladies, welcome to Chicago. Steven Prejean Gardner of CHGO Sports. My first question is going to be for Maddy. So, of course, you spent a lot of time playing in pick and roll at what people call guard university at Notre Dame. I think what's hidden in that is the screen and the angles that which you all set ball screens with over there that really helps to unlock the guards, but also unlock your spacing ability. Can you just speak to that process and all of the skill development and film watching that goes into understanding screens and understanding how to do it relative to the coverages on ball and things like that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think there's an art in setting screens. There's an art in, the level that you're at and your ability to get off of screens quickly. Because, ultimately you're setting a screen for the person coming off of it, but also setting yourself up to be open. And so it's definitely an art. And, working on your feet, working on, being available and ready to catch the ball, ready to shoot and attack as quick as you can off the ball screen. And having point guards in Olivia and Hannah, who, they both play at a very different pace coming off ball screens. Hannah is very quick, very kind of immediate in her attack mode. And then Liv is kind of, she has different levels to it. And so being able to play with such versatile point guards, such dynamic speeds, I think it'll be really good for me to just be able to be dynamic coming off the ball screen.
Any more from Alyssa?
Oh, I was just hoping Maddy could answer too.
Yeah, I think resilience definitely comes to mind. I feel like I had, like 5 different seasons within this past season, just of, surgery, coming back from that, return to play, getting to play, and then all the highs and lows that come with being on the court. And I think for me, just resilience and consistency, coming in every day, regardless of, the high or the low, and just really getting to work, and the mentality that I had coming in every single day. And, the work that I put in, I think that I left Notre Dame in a place better than when I found it. And I take a lot of pride in that. And, the leadership that I had to be able to unify the team that we had. We had amazing players on the team, and it was unfortunate the way that it ended. But at the same time, I wouldn't trade the relationships that I had for the world, and, the growth that we had throughout the season, individually, but then also, the lessons that we learned. So I think resilience is definitely the word that comes to mind.
Thank you both.
Thank you, everyone.
Good evening from the Chicago Sky Draft Party at Revolution Brewing. I'm Chris Kwasinski, the digital sports producer of Fox 32. I'm joined with Carly Bell, with Courtside with Carly Bell. I'd like to start today by talking about the biggest thing, Hailey Van Lith. I asked Jeff Maglioka, GM of the Chicago Sky, was he surprised that Hailey Van Lith was going to be there at number 11? He said, yeah. Were you surprised?
I was completely surprised. I don't think anyone saw Hailey Van Lith falling even out of the top 10. What she did at TCU really bolstered her draft capital. If you look back at any mock draft in November and December, she was not even a projected first-round pick, but her ability to adjust and be versatile, her being at 3 schools, having to learn 3 different offensive systems, and then taking TCU to their first ever Elite 8 appearance, that alone can bolster her capital. She also knows that she can score. She's got great on-ball pressure defensively. Her even being there at 11 and that trade that Jeff Pagliacca did the night before is something that is, again, proving vital for the Chicago Sky, and them being able to get Hailey Van Lith to not only provide guard depth, but for her to also be able to learn from Courtney Vandersloot, Ariel Atkins, Kian Nurse, Rachel Bana, Mariah Jefferson, everybody there. She's got a great group of veterans to learn from, and she's going to be a pivotal moment and a pivotal guard for the Sky to have, not just in 2025, but also beyond.
I was going to say right away, Hailey Van Lith is a player that we know has had clutch March Madness moments. We all love watching him. How do you think she figures in right away?
I think she's not going to be a starter right away, because you have Courtney Vandersloot. She's been here, 14-plus year veteran. She's also a Chicago Sky scorer and record holder in so many categories. Sloot will be the floor general, but I think she's somebody that will come off the bench because you want her to get those WNBA minutes. We saw it last year with Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso. Having those vital WNBA minutes early and getting a lot of them can provide crucial development that you're not going to get in a practice, that you're not going to get just scrimmaging against your teammates. Being out there and having that game time feeling is going to be really, really impactful for her development, and I'm really intrigued to see what new head coach Tyler Marsh and his coaching staff will do in developing her game and her ability to adjust and be versatile. We saw it in college. I think she'll adjust pretty well to WNBA.
Speaking of development, number 10 overall, Aicha Sioka, kind of someone that caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting that name to come up with the Sky. We didn't see a lot of it, a lot of mock drafts. But what's your impression of her right away? I
mean, she's 19, 20 years old, so she's got youth. She also can score on all 3 levels. Great 3-point shooter, which is something that the Sky really lacked last year. But, and here's the big question, is whether or not she will play in the WNBA this year with the prioritization rule. Those international picks sometimes don't want to come to the W because it limits their ability to play for their national teams. However, just having her and being able to retain her rights, not just for 2025, but 2026, 27, 28, is something that will be crucial and pivotal, especially with what 2026, what the end of this year brings with CBA negotiations, media rights deals, everything. Having just that forward there is crucial. If she does play in the W, her learning from Rebecca Allen and Michaela Onyenwere, she will learn how to be that wing utility player, and that is something that's so crucial. It's that and the power forward position are the most vital positions in the WNBA. So she's going to have, if she does play, she's going to have a great leadership group to learn from, and I'm really, really excited to see how her defense will grow in the W. That offense will translate really seamlessly.
Oh, yeah. When you go to the second round, there's two, Aicha Coulibaly, Maddy Westbeld. Which one of those stands out to you as maybe the most significant or most impactful right away?
Oh, Maddy Westbeld, out of nowhere. You know, obviously, Notre Dame grads, so right up the road in South Bend, so Notre Dame grads, come see your girl. But outside of that, I think she is somebody that will make the team. She is somebody who's 6'3". She also has a wingspan of about 6'6". She's got great hands, and what she was able to do in coming back from her injury shows how versatile, and also she knows how to adjust, something that Hailey Van Lith also has. They want that versatility. That's something that Head Coach Tyler Marsh really, really preached in that press conference right after, is we want to be a team that's versatile. And also, all of these players have gone through some type of adversity. Angel Reese went with her leg injury. We have Hailey Van Lith transferring all over the place. Maddy Westbeld also with her injury. They know how to fight back, and that's a grit and tenacity that this team, if you look across the roster, they all have. So I think she's going to provide more depth, obviously, at that forward position that this guy absolutely need more than anything else. And I think her defensive game is what's going to set her apart. Offensively, she can score anywhere. We saw it. She shot upwards of 40% from the floor, 35% from the arc. Her defensive game, though, and being able to disrupt passing lanes, creating turnovers, I think she had about a 2-steal average over 5 years. That's something you don't see, especially in the ACC. So seeing that defensive prowess translate to the WNBA could be vital if she does end up making a spot on the roster.
We talk about this draft. We talk about two impact players, one that's going to be down the road, one that can impact now, also two second-rounders that can have an impact in their own way. Does this change the way that you view the Chicago Sky in 2025?
Yes, I think now the Chicago Sky will be a playoff contender. Excuse me, I see them finishing between 5 through 8. I think prior to this draft, I saw them finishing around 7 through 11, which is where they were last year. But having that added depth, and then also what they did in free agency, including acquiring Ariel Atkins, that was such a huge, huge acquisition for the Sky to have that veteran depth and that veteran presence in the guard group that they just lacked last year. And that is the position that will lead your whole offense. So now you have players that have been in the league for a little bit. They know how fast the W works, and they've also worked with rookies, so they know how to develop youth, which is going to be insanely helpful for a brand new head coach in Tyler Marsh. I see the Sky finishing between 5 and 8, and the only reason that I could see them falling out of that is injuries. That's the biggest thing that we always see. There's only 12 roster spots, so if there's one injury, that's always an issue. But before training camp, I see them being a playoff contender. They could be real sneaky. I think they're going to take some games away from some teams that I don't think people expect them to do. I think this is going to be a really, really fun team to watch. There's going to be some swagger on this court all season. Angel Reese and Hailey Van Lith, I'm so excited to see it.
KB, courtside with Carly Bell. Appreciate you.
What up, y'all? This your boy Ace here, and welcome to Ace's Angels, y'all, man. So let's get to it, you guys, man. So I'm going to make separate videos. I'm going to talk about Washington's picks. I'm going to talk about Serena Sundell. Still plan on talking about Grace Berger. But I wanted to start with this guy. I was seeing a lot of comments about this guy, and I really wanted to do this guy first because Hailey Van Lith is one of the girls that I wanted on the Indiana Fever, and also Maddy Westbeld. So they got two of the girls that I was really wanting on the Indiana Fever, and we didn't get them. But this guy got them. And I think they had such an interesting draft, but also a very good draft. I can't understand some of the criticism that they've been getting. I don't get it why they've been getting this criticism that they've been getting, to be honest with y'all, man. I don't feel like they had a bad draft at all. I actually think they had a better draft than Dallas. The best draft was Washington, but I think they might have had the number 2 draft. Washington got a little bit of a clusterfuck. Like, it seemed like they had too many picks and too many girls that, like, it felt like they were just picking. It's not as bad as Connecticut, but it just felt like they just were picking just to be picking, man. I didn't like, they started to lose me as they kept going. I was like, okay, they're making good picks here. And then I'm like, okay, you're just picking people just to pick people now. I really don't know what their identity is in Dallas. Like, I really don't. But anyways, man. So we got this situation, right? We got this situation with the Sky. And the Sky, the real problem with the Sky last year was talent, right? It was mainly talent. Outside of, drafting Reese and Carmela Cardoza, and having Marina Mabry to start the season, then really as the season progresses, it became more about Kennedy Carter, and then she got hurt towards the end of the year. Reese got hurt the last week or two of the season. So it just started to feel like, okay, where is this all going? So it's just started to get real confusing. Like just what direction they were looking to go in this franchise. So anyways, so with that being said, the Sky needed to get talent, right? So they didn't make a lot of moves, but they did make some moves this offseason. And, one of the things about their team that I liked is that their general manager knew what he wanted. And so they fired Teresa Witherspoon, which I think was a good decision because she was kind of clueless in what she was doing. And there was rumors that maybe Angel Reese had wanted her out or whatever, but I don't really know. It really doesn't matter now if there is anything going on with that. But their general manager, Jeff, I don't know how to say his last name, Blagoica. I always call him Jeff. That's who I always call. I always call him Jeff. I don't know how to say his last name, so I'm not even going to try here. But anyways, so he, like I said before, he knew what he wanted. Because I remember when he said he wanted like wing players and all of that stuff. He wanted wings and he wanted more scoring. So they hired the new coach, Tyler Marsh, who comes from Vegas. And Tyler Marsh immediately says one of the things that he wants more scoring on his team. And so when you look at their roster, they started to make some moves. And I like the moves that they made in the offseason. So one of the moves they got my girl Kia Nurse from Canada. She was on the Sparks like the last year or two, I think. So they got Kia Nurse. Then they got Courtney Vandersloot from the Liberty. Bought her back after she won a championship, the only championship in Sky history a few years ago. Morgan Birch, and then the other girl was Rebecca Allen from Phoenix. And I think Rebecca Allen is going to be perfect for what they want, a veteran who knows how to stretch the floor and all that other stuff. So they got a real good 6'2" wing/guard, right? And they still got the other girls that they got on their team. Then they traded the number 3 pick. And I was a little bit concerned about that, trading that number 3 pick. And they got Ariel Atkins off the Washington Mystics. She plays really good defense. She can shoot a little bit. She scored, I think her average last year was like 15 points per game. So she's no slouch. So she's going to be a veteran guard that comes in, going to give them a little bit, to start the season. And, hopefully they'll rub off on her. And they still got Rachel Banham, who didn't play as well as I think that they were hoping for as a Marina Mabry replacement, but she still gives you a little bit of shooting off the bench, right? I think she's going to play a lot better this season than she played last season, being under Tyler Marsh. So the identity with the Sky is there. And look, if you're on the Fever side, you're trying to hate on everything that the Sky's doing. It's your rivals. That's what you're going to do. You're not going to try to say anything positive about them or anything like that. Y'all know I don't really like Angel Reese, but the thing is, I got to be honest, man. The Chicago Sky future looks a lot better than the Indiana Fever. And if y'all haven't watched my video where I dissed the shit out of the Fever's new front office, make sure y'all watch that video because I come after them hard, bro. In that last video that I did. It said the video that I did is called Lucy Olsen and Serena Sundell Get Passed on for Bree Bum Hall. Right? And I call out the front office for that move. So I gotta be honest with y'all. Like I said, I like what the Chicago Sky did. Now, Chicago Sky had a lot more picks than the Fever, and obviously the roster is constructed a little bit different because the Fever are trying to win a championship this year, and the Sky knows that they're a young team. They know that they're not in a position to win a championship right now, maybe even make the playoffs this season, but I felt like the Sky just had a way better draft, and their future beyond this season, when all of these veteran players are going to become free agents, is going to be just a historical offseason where you got all of these veterans not on contract. There's going to be a lot of movement. It's going to feel like every team is an expansion team almost, because it's going to be so many players who were on teams going to new teams, man. And you got a lot of rookies as well and stuff like that. So you got a lot of rookies who are going to still be on their rookie deal. So they're going to be like the only players that a lot of these teams have carrying over from. And I feel like the Sky has done a great job in not really having to reconstruct too much on their roster when next year gets here. So again, I like the direction they went. I like a lot of their moves, and I got to be honest, like, to me, if you're saying, now I know Sky fans don't even like their draft, and I think it's because Sky fans really didn't think. They really don't. Either they really didn't think, or they don't know these players that well. Because it's got to be one or the other. Like for you, and I know a lot of the Sky fans, they wanted Sellers or Sundell, but what team that was in a position to get those players didn't want them, right? But to me, the Sky addressed things where they did not need either one of them. You know what I mean? They got Hailey Van Lith. Great. She's got rapport with Angel Reese. She's got a history with Angel Reese. They played together. And then I'm like, bro, they didn't have like a relationship where they weren't getting along at LSU. Just because she transferred because of Kim Mulkey, dumbass. Kim Mulkey's horrible. She knew she needed a new start, and if she was going to make it to the W, she needed a new start and to get on a team where she could start out fresh and start over again, because she had such a bad season at LSU. So it just wasn't a good fit for her. But her and Angel Reese got along, and I think that this was the best spot, because she's going to be able to make the team. That's another thing, because one thing that I was being told from Indiana Fever fans supposedly is that a lot of the players, the rookie players, might not even make the team. But whose fault is that? It's the goddamn front office who just kept adding player after player, taking those spots from the rookies. You know what I'm saying? That's their fault. Ain't my damn fault. It ain't my fault. It ain't y'all fault. That's on them for making those dumb moves. So I'm not gonna sit up here and feel like, they because they didn't have the space, like I'm gonna sit up here and cap for them. Like, I ain't capping for them. They shouldn't have made them damn moves. Okay. But anyways, Hailey Van Lith, I feel like this is a really good spot for her, because she's going to be the point guard of the future. Obviously, they're going to have Courtney Vannis, who's starting out. And then when she's ready to take over, she's going to be able to, because one of the things that people overlooked from Hailey Van Lith is how well she played with Sedona Prince. She fed the ball to Sedona Prince so many times, bro. And that's what the Sky needs. They need a point guard who's going to feed Reese and Mila, bro. They need a point guard like that. And also, Hailey Van Lith, she's shown you many times this season she could score the ball. She could score you 20 if you need it. Hailey Van Lith, also another thing I like about her, you got Angel Reese's fan base, then you got Hailey Van Lith's fan base. Chicago Sky going to be very powerful this season. Like, they're going to be very powerful. They're going to be very powerful when it comes to popularity. And they're going to get a different type of popularity this year, because a lot of Hailey Van Lith fans was also Caitlin Clark fans. So, but you're also going to have that sector of Caitlin Clark fans who, just because Hailey's on the Sky now, they're going to hate on Hailey. And I'm telling y'all right now, I'm not one of those fans. Like, Caitlin Clark is not my favorite player in the league. I like covering her, but my favorite player was always Grace Berger. Like, Grace Berger was my favorite player the last 4 years now, going back to Indiana. Like, she was always like my favorite player. And I like Lexi Hall more than Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham. Like, I'm not a super Caitlin Clark person, but I guess I get fit into that because we covered them on the channel. But I'm not like a super Caitlin Clark person, bro. And I don't like a lot of what Caitlin Clark fans do. A lot of them are weirdos. They always like to play this game where they put people. They like to they like to go against Paige Beckers. They like to go against Hailey Van Lith. You know, Angel Reed. Like they like to do a lot of this weird like Caitlyn versus everybody type stuff. Like it gets old and tiring. Like I started to get sick of it. Like after last season, I was like, this is kind of whack. I'm more of my position with the whole Caitlin Clark thing is supporting the white ballers in the league away from the black ballers. That's my position more than anything. It's not really a Caitlin Clark thing versus everybody for me. It just happens to be that Caitlin Clark is white and she's been a victim to a lot of this stuff, and I've been able to support her. But I'm not one of those. I'm not one of those dudes, them weird dudes on YouTube like that, bro. Don't get me mixed up with them. Bro. But anyways, man. So Hailey Van Lith is a very, I think she's going to be very good for this guy. The other player that they got right before Hailey Van Lith is Aicha Sivka. Sivka is very good. She's basically, a lot of people been calling her a 6'4" Luka Doncic. The female Luka Doncic. She comes from Slovenia like him too. She can score the basketball. For 6'4", she's almost like the female version of Kevin Durant. She could score the rock, bro. And a lot of fans have been, watching her highlights because they want to understand. They didn't really hear about it until yesterday. So a lot of fans were like looking at her highlights and they're looking like, oh, damn, she could really shoot. The only problem with her is I think she's a stash. I think she's playing overseas or something like that. So she might not be ready for the sky right away. I think that's one of the things that I was hearing. But whenever she comes over, she's going to be such a lethal asset for him because she's 6'4". She's going to be versatile. She could play the wing. She could play the 4, the 5. She could be... There's so many things she can do. I don't know if she's a physical type presence, though, but she's definitely going to be someone that she's going to be a weapon for this guy. I like to look at her like an Elena Deladon, but I'm not saying she's Elena Deladon. Like, Elena Deladon was something else. Like, if you never watched Elena Deladon, I feel bad for you. When Elena Deladon was on the sky back in her prime, bro, she was something else. But she kind of reminds me a little bit of, like, an Elena Deladon a little bit. But she's quite impressive. When you get a player like that, how could you say this guy had a bad draft when they got her, Hailey Van Lith, and then the other player? I was so surprised with so many people. I was like, how many of y'all actually watched Maddy Westbeld, bro? Because there was so many people talking shit about Maddy Westbeld. I was like, man, why you get Maddy Westbeld, bro? Man, she's slow. She don't do this. She don't do that. I'm like, you watch Maddy Westbeld? Did you really watch Maddy Westbeld? Because I've been calling for this girl's name since last year on my channel. I said one of the plays that I want the Fever to take. Once we got Sophie Cunningham, it made it feel like we probably didn't need her that much. But I was like, man, I still grab her. It doesn't matter. I still grab Maddy Westbeld. Maddy is a 6'3" wing. Obviously could play the 4. And she plays very good defense. One of the things you're getting out of her right away is that she could play defense, bro. She could play defense. Bro, on this team is going to be so popular. She's going to actually, because she's a beautiful girl too. Oh my God, I think she's going to be, bro, she's going to be popular. She's going to be super popular. This is the WNBA couldn't ask for a better roster out of the Chicago Sky, bro. They really couldn't ask for a better roster. They got a roster right now where it's just like, God damn, they really hit on it, bro. Like, they really hit on it, bro. Like, it is no game. They hit on it. Maddy Westbeld, bro. And the thing that I've always liked about Maddy Westbeld is this. She's a project player, too. She's a project player. Like, she's someone who is very raw. And she is a WNBA player. I don't know who there was somebody saying, man, she's not even a WNBA player. What the hell are you talking about? She comes in playing defense. This is why she got drafted, because she comes right in, she's 6'3" and plays really good defense. If you watch the TCU game when she got in foul trouble, Notre Dame went immediately down as soon as she came out of the game because they was missing her defense. TCU was able to do whatever they wanted on offense after she came out of the game. And she could be a little bit of like a 3-and-D player, like a Sonia Centron, like her teammate at Notre Dame. Like, she can definitely develop that 3 and be a 3-and-D player. I like what she can become. And I think that she could grow her game into being like a Sifka. And they need school, like they need these projects like this. Like, this is a talented player, Maddy Westbeld, bro. Anybody will tell you who knows the game how talented she is, bro. So that was really stupid. And then the other girl that I like, Coulibaly, I like that one. If she makes the team, I don't know if she will, but that's another good player. She comes from Texas A&M. She's another sneaky good player for the Sky. Man, the Sky, man, I'm gonna tell you what, man. Yo, they got shooting, and that's what they were going for on the Sky. I can't lie to y'all, man. The Sky got way better, bro. And their future is going to be way better, man. Reese might win a championship before Caitlin Clark. Because if Caitlin Clark don't win it this year, man, they ain't got no future because they didn't address it in this draft. They didn't address it. They wanted to get all these older players around Caitlin, and it's going to screw Caitlin Clark in the long run. So remember I said that. Remember I said it when it comes out to play like that. But the Sky, they're going to score the basketball this season, bro. I could see, depending on the way that game, depending on the way that Fever game goes, that opening game, I could see this guy coming out of that game with a win, bro. I need to see him in preseason first because I need to see what the rotations are. It's gonna take a little bit of a learning curve though for Tyler Marsh to really get going what he wants to get going, especially with the rotations and stuff. But this team, once they all settle in, they're gonna be fire, bro. They're gonna be fire. Like a lot of Fever fans are gonna be mad at this front office. Like in a year or two. Watch what I say. A lot of them are gonna be like, damn, Chicago way better than us. That's what's gonna end up happening. Then y'all gonna come back looking real stupid for criticizing this team, bro. So I'm gonna end the video right here, though, man. Give me y'all thoughts here. Hailey Van Lith, man, she's gonna blow up in Chicago, man. She's gonna be a star. She's gonna be a superstar, bro. But give me y'all thoughts here, man. Give this video a like, share, subscribe, y'all. Thank y'all for watching Aces Angels, y'all.